What's up, YouTube? This is Matthews97, and welcome back to an episode of SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 General Manager Mode. And yes, we are finally in second place. We have surpassed Raw. And next stop is that number one spot. We're going after SmackDown next. And here's a quick look at the Power 25. And as you can see, we are dominating Power 25. Nearly like our entire roster is up there. Actually, I want to take a look here real quick as we scroll down here. Mr. Kennedy. Okay, so all 15 of our Power 15 spots are on the Power 25, and that is awesome. You can take a look. There is our rivalries going on. Of course, we just came off of the... Actually, no, the pay-per-view is just coming up in like 3 weeks. And as you can see, there's like this 2-week gap between Survivor Series and December to Dismember. And that really stinks because, you know, I'm going to have to start building feuds coming up pretty shortly. Because, I mean, like, I could start building towards December to Dismember, and it's only September, so, I mean, I don't know how ECW's pay-per-views are set up. It's just one giant whole mishap thing going on, but, anyway, you can see Mark Henry. I don't remember why I wanted to show that, but, oh yeah, Mark Henry is turning heel, just in that little promo one slot. I plan on having him turn heel, and, potentially lining him up for a feud with somebody, because, I mean, looking at some of my superstars here, there are some superstars who were former main event players, to quote from Brodus Clay, and, you know, now just not really doing something. So Mark Henry, I feel, would be better as a heel for me to open up any possible rivalries with him. But as you can see, Evolution defeats the team of Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton. Nitro picks up another big victory, this time over Kane. So Johnny Nitro still picking up some pretty big wins. And then that first blood match earlier on in our opening match that I never got to cover. But we've got a 6-man tag here featuring the Hardcore Legends taking on the team of Chris Masters, Mr. Kennedy, and Mark Henry. And I mentioned this in a UCW video, whether it's been uploaded or not. But I was thinking about possibly doing a second General Manager Mode series, like after this one, of course. I'd definitely want to finish this one up before I start another series on my channel, because I feel like the 4 that I have at the moment are kind of out of hand. I mean, like, I'm able to focus time on all my series, but I feel like, you know, certain series I would like to upload more, but because I have so many series, which I do enjoy making the videos for them, don't get me wrong, but I feel like I could put more attention if I had less series. But, like, if I look at my channel at the moment, I mean, like, the UCW series, that's going to be gone for a little while once I finish it, but I wanted to bring that back later on, and now I'm thinking about doing another GM mode down the road. And, I mean, these are potential ideas that I could hang on to and bring back at another time. Like, I wouldn't have to bring them both back at the same time. But I had this idea for a GM mode series that would feature, it'd be kind of like, I'd have to set certain limits to what I could do with my universe mode. I actually have this in, hopefully this doesn't mess up my audio because my laptop sucks. But I'm going to quick open up a program here. So I apologize if my audio just lagged or anything, because, you know, it's stupid like that, and that happens because my laptop sucks. So if I open up a program or something, it's going to make it all low-pitched and whatever when it just kind of skips ahead and does all of that nonsense. But anyway, I've got the thing opened up now. So the idea that I had for this GM mode, I would have to set kind of like handicap. I guess you could call it kind of like a handicap GM mode. I don't have a name for it yet, but what it would be is that I cannot draft or use at any time during the GM mode. I can't use any superstar with a popularity over 80 or any mainstream talent. And by mainstream talent, guys like John Cena, Randy Orton, Batista, Undertaker, those kind of things. I even consider, even though he's only like a 68 or like a 70 popularity, I'm also rolling out guys like Jeff Hardy, CM Punk. I consider those 2 guys mainstream, even though they weren't back at this time. Of course, that means legends are not included, as Mr. Kennedy gets the win there for his team. So a bit of an upset there for these 3 superstars. But superstars that are, you know, they have to be under 80 popularity when I draft them. Now, I'm allowed to boost them up over 80 popularity, but the reason why I would think of this, like, the reason why I would want to do this is because, you know, whenever I play GM mode, it seems like I'm always using the same guys. Like, you know, it seems like in a GM mode, the main goal is to draft, you draft your roster, then once you build them up to 100 or whatever, and then you trade in, you try to trade for these, like, bigger superstars, so then you've got all the main event talent, and the other shows, they have all the crappy superstars, like, just superstars nobody really wants, like a Chris Masters, or a Great Khali, or Gregory Helms, that kind of thing. But, my idea was that I cannot draft any of the mainstream talent, or I just can't use them, pretty much. Now, I'd be allowed to draft 2 mainstream guys, or maybe 3, it depends, but I'm thinking that could be like an optional thing, whether I do that or not, but I could maybe draft like 2 main event guys, but I can't use them on my show at all. I'd have to immediately trade them for other lower popularity guys. So, say I draft John Cena, I would have to immediately trade him for, you know, either 2 or 3 lower card superstars. So maybe I trade John Cena for Finlay and Chavo Guerrero at the same time. And you never know, that could be a trade I might have to make. But, you know, just sort of an interesting thing, an interesting challenge to add to GM mode, because, like, I'm still allowed to build them up. I'm allowed to build up their popularity, but it's going to take a little more time to do so. And because I don't have any real main event talent that can help me boost the ratings, it's going to put me in, I'm going to obviously fall behind really quickly because of the superstars I have on my roster. But if I do it this way, then I feel like the feuds could mean more, because like, if I look at my ECW general manager mode at the moment, not a lot of the feuds seem to really have any sort of meaning or importance. It's just they're kind of there to boost the ratings, and they get featured, you know, every so often. And, like, I mean, they're featured on the show, but it seems like, definitely when I started, the kind of feuds that I had didn't have a whole lot of meaning. And originally, I wanted this to be a series that I would, like, take your input and use that. And I still do that. I still do that with feuds and stuff, but, like, sometimes it doesn't go through. But if I would do something like this also, then the feuds they're gonna have to be very important. I'm gonna have to actually take some time to think into these feuds and actually have to build some kind of a story with it, because it's just gonna be talent that really aren't over themselves. So, like, Chavo Guerrero, no one really cares too much about Chavo Guerrero, but say I have him feud with, like, Gregory Helms for, like, 3 months over the Cruiserweight title or something, and it just turns into this epic feud. Like, I just feel like this would be an interesting new challenge to General Manager mode, rather than the usual, you draft your superstars, and then you try to pick up the bigger guys, the guys that you want to use on your roster, and then pretty much, you know, it gets repetitive. But no, this time, like, obviously there wouldn't really be too much in the realm of, like, you couldn't really request too much for trades, because it would definitely limit who I could get, and that's part of the challenge of it. So, like, I don't know, superstars who are not considered main talent, you know, I think the highest superstar that I could draft that's not mainstream, maybe like a Bobby Lashley or Umaga, because I don't consider them mainstream talent, and they definitely aren't, unless you consider them, but I don't. Like, I mean, Bobby Lashley, he was main event for ECW for a while, but he wasn't a big superstar. And there could be some of you who could argue out there that Jeff Hardy is not mainstream talent. I personally think that he is. He was one of the big names in TNA that they had. WWE, I mean, like, Jeff Hardy always seemed to have some kind of popularity. He always seemed to be pretty popular with the fans. And I just feel like Jeff Hardy is mainstream. However, someone like Matt Hardy, I do not consider mainstream, because he never really was in that main event scene. And even though he may have fans, he wasn't as over as Jeff Hardy was. He wasn't as extreme, which is what got Jeff Hardy over, what made him famous with the fans. And, you know, there could be that could be a bit of who you would decide to draft and who not to draft. That could be a bit of a personal preference, I guess, but that's just kind of an example of the superstars that I would get. But I would try to fill up my 20 superstar roster, and I should still be able to trade for a few extra guys that are there. But like, if I were to do this, I guess, like, to be super hardcore, I could pick ECW again. But like, if I would do this, I would probably pick SmackDown. Not only because then I wouldn't have to worry about the Divas. That'd be one thing. But then I'd also have the 4 championships, and that is going to help me a little bit because I'm going to start out already at such a disadvantage from the other shows. If I would have more championships, that would add a little more boost in the ratings and a little more prestige. Sorry, my throat's going out. It's just acting weird. Because I do these commentaries like right after I walk home from school, so sometimes I'm a little dehydrated or something. So if my voice goes like, that's probably why. But anyway, now that I went off on another side tangent, I tend to do that. But I mean, hell, this whole commentary is a side tangent, but pretty much just explaining the idea of this new concept. If you guys would enjoy that kind of a series, be sure to let me know down in the comments section, because I feel this would be a pretty interesting game type, and whether people want to see it or not, I'll probably do it anyway. Somewhere down the line, it's probably going to happen, because this is an interesting thing that I'd like to do, and I'm trying it out on a second account on PlayStation Network. I'm trying it out, and I haven't gotten to get too far, because I've just been like really bogged down with like homework and stuff in school lately, because we just made the change to the second semester, and I have 3 core courses, 2 of them being honors courses. I have honors English, which gives me a ton of homework and a ton of assignments, but I mean, like, it's not that bad, I guess, but I mean, this is the first time that I've actually gotten so much work. Like, I'm used to, because, you know, oh, I'm an honors kid, so everything's easy to me, and then, like, for whatever reason, this semester, it just seems like I'm getting more work than I've ever gotten, and like, it just all seems to come in at once, and I'm pretty much being dramatic probably, but it's just because I'm not used to getting this kind of work. It also doesn't help that my courses are like all stacked this semester, but anyway, that's enough about that. But I did need to get this commentary in, partially. I mean, I enjoy doing commentaries, so that's part of the reason why I'm doing this instead of homework right now. But I have plenty of time to do the homework, and I mean, I may start doing my homework like a half an hour later or something, and it just takes longer to do. But like, once I finish that, I mean, I'd rather do a commentary than actually play the game right now, or record a video, because I know I have so much footage stockpiled on my computer right now. I could probably go a month without touching my PS3, and I'd probably still have content to produce, because for whatever reason, like, I just somehow got all this footage recorded. I don't know if it was partially due to the Christmas break that I recorded a lot then, but I don't know. I just ended up getting so much footage here, so like, I could go for a while without recording anything. So it's not the same with commentaries, so that's why I'm doing a commentary now. But yeah, I'm sorry if I'm boring you with my side tangents and stuff, but you know, YouTube's just, hey, it's my channel, I can do whatever the hell I want, and yeah, so that's kind of what that is. Anyway, we got this pretty good tag team ladder match going on here in the background. The Hardy Boys versus rivals CM Punk and Edge. And, like, I don't know, I just feel like if I would do that sort of handicapped style GM mode, it could be more of, you know, try to bring together this community that I have on my channel. I mean, at first, like, how do I want to say this? Like, at first in this series, I was taking suggestions, and then, you know, of course, when you start a rivalry, then it's going to take a while before you can do another one if someone suggests that superstar. And some of them, you know, after a while, because of like how long ago it was suggested, I will forget about them sometimes. And sometimes I just like to take things in my own sort of creative direction. Like, for example, the whole thing that's going on right now between, that involves Mick Foley, Sabu, and Terry Funk. I planned out a storyline for them that I think is going to be pretty awesome. Because it's ECW. We got to get some hardcore extreme matches going on. And who better to do it than those three superstars? But I've got something going there that I feel like it's going to be a pretty entertaining thing. I know the gameplay's not the greatest, but I feel like if I would do something like restricting the rules, and people could maybe get more behind it, I'm sure that would turn some people off because they're not going to see some of their favorite superstars. Like, I don't know. I feel like if I say John Cena, people are going to be like, oh, no one's going to have that be their favorite superstar. But I mean, John Cena, he's a pretty mainstream popular guy, so if John Cena's not in there, or someone like Jeff Hardy, Edge, CM Punk, hell, 3 of the superstars in this match I wouldn't be able to use because I consider them mainstream talent. And so Matt Hardy, if I do the series, you're lucky, you could be on my show. And you probably will, because I do kind of like Matt Hardy, but he's not mainstream talent, not a mainstream guy, so I don't consider him restricted for the rules. So I don't know, if you guys like the idea and you want to see it, be sure to let me know. And if you've got I hope this could be an interactive series, but I don't know, I guess we'd have to see how that goes. But yeah, I feel like I've touched on that idea long enough. CM Punk falling off the ladder as Jeff Hardy now climbed off the ladder looking to grab the fictional title belt that hangs above. And by fictional title, I mean like it's not a real title. The belt is obviously there as Jeff Hardy pulls it down off the ladder. Punk and Edge are still going at it, looks like, but Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy, of course, the Extreme Tag Team, Team Extreme, Hardy Boyz, ladder specialists, they get the win over CM Punk and Edge. And I guess that was a matchup between 4 ladder specialists. CM Punk, 2-time Money in the Bank winner. Edge, of course, I don't even got to talk about Edge in ladder matches, but pretty good matchup there between those two teams. Let's go ahead and check out the ratings. So we can see we got a 4-star opening contest, 3.5, 4-star, 3.5, and another 4-star for an overall show rating of 3.5 stars. Let's take a look at Raw. They got a 4-star overall. Intercontinental Championship main event, JTG versus Finlay. And we're going to go ahead and see who we can build up at this point, if there's even anybody left. Of course, we just traded to get these newer guys, so we got to try to get them up around 90, because these guys, they're going to be huge focal point in the upcoming episodes of GM Mode. So we got a lot of superstars here, 1 week left on their contracts. Let's go ahead and extend some of these guys. Whether I do 3-month or 5-week, we'll have to see, but that puts me in an interesting situation with this GM Mode, because certain guys I was looking at trading away, like I just got rid of John Cena. I was thinking about getting rid of Batista or Randy Orton or something like that, or Rey Mysterio, but considering I have this idea for a GM Mode, if I traded them all now, you'd probably see like a lot of the same people in that GM Mode in this one. So that's why, I felt that was also kind of important to mention, because that also kind of hinders, I guess it doesn't really hinder me, but as far as people I'm going to use in this GM Mode, I don't want there to be too many of the same people that I'm going to use in my other one, as SmackDown gets a 3.5-star show rating. Man, John Cena was not... What the heck is this main event? Rock and Marcus Yeah, I don't know, but hey, maybe they have an actual storyline behind it that makes that entertaining. And that's kind of what the whole basis of my other we dropped back down to 3rd place. Are you kidding me? It's because of the Unforgiven pay-per-view. That must be it. Because they got the hype heading into their pay-per-view, so that's going to help them. That's going to help them a little bit. But we'll see if they can deliver for Unforgiven. But if they don't, then hey, we'll get 2nd place back pretty quickly. The important thing is that we're actually in the running now, and I think we'll stay there throughout the rest of this GM Mode. But let's go ahead now. We're actually in Toronto, September 22nd. Sabu doing a bit of trying to get us some cash there. Let's check out the results from the Unforgiven pay-per-view. SmackDown fan change down 150,000, which is pretty good. 4.5-star pay-per-view. That is not good because that means Raw is going to try and bury us. Unless that was just a 4.5 for the match. I didn't quite read that whole thing. Let's go ahead and try to build up some more cash for Terry Funk. Let's go ahead and do that. And 4.5-star overall. That match sucks. That one sucks. I mean, why is Canada... This one sucks. I mean, come on. I mean, that's partially because they don't have any, like, Elimination Chamber. Okay, they were kind of given that chamber match because it was part of the pay-per-view, so they were kind of lucky on that one. 2-star on Raw. Yeah, I think we're gonna catch them and we're gonna get past them in no time. I mean, look at this. Look at this. 3 matches not there. What is this? Yeah, no, they're done. Raw is done. That Unforgiven was their last shot. They're done. Raw's gone. So, yeah, looks like our only competition left is SmackDown. Let's check out the Power 25. Boom, Batista retaking the #1 spot for ECW. Rock #2 for SmackDown. And the first Raw guy isn't until number 10, and that's Steve Austin. So, what a pity that is for Raw, but they'll be gone soon enough at this rate if they keep putting on 2-star shows. But I want to thank you all for watching. Make sure to stay tuned for the next episode of SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 General Manager Mode. Keep on YouTubing.